Welcome back to Going Medieval. I may have forgotten to save at the end of the last video, so we have less sheep, I think, because I don't think the two that were born at the end of the video are we're in the autosave. So we only lost a couple hours of in-game time, but we still lost a couple hours of in-game time. Oops. My bad. Did not intend to do that. But, oh well. It's not too bad. It could have been much worse. What was I needing? That's right. That's right. That's... Please succeed. No. Darn. Okay. Why are we doing that like that? Oh well. So, with both of these on, this room gets to be about 25 degrees. A nice, consistent 25 degrees. While this one stays at around 2 at the minute. It will get colder because it is getting bigger, and we currently only have some of the wall insulated. But, yeah. By the time we get to this door, we've already cut off enough of the heat that we aren't actually having any issues with heat leaking in, which is good, because this corridor is not too cold, which is also quite nice. There's a lot of dung, which dung is very useful if you can get a consistent stockpile of it. Where is my dung brick? Yeah. I mean, ideally, ideally we don't use wood or sticks. But ultimately, we also kind of only really want to be using dung bricks if we can. It's a very useful resource. And is part of the reason I like having so many animals. Which we will gradually expand the farm. Maybe less gradually and more just expand the farm. Because I'm looking at it right now, I can think about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we have the space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh. Not here though. Not here. How much? 12. So I've changed my mind. We're doing 4 because we can. Wait, how long are those? Nine. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Have I managed to do the exact same thing? Oh my goodness. I'm smart. Very, very smart. Oh, no, just that one. And shift click, not control click. Which is, of course, very easy to remember. I never make that mistake. Of course, they rotated in the opposite directions. Of course, I got it wrong. The first time, at least. Torch. Torch. No, that's not how I did it over here. That's not how I did it over here. I put the torch in the middle. So it's torch. 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 closed. Do hope that's a possible task. How does this look? Or... yeah, I still think double window instead of big window. And they can reach to do the closing and opening. Which is good. Um... Okay. Please dig that point so that I can put in... Of course there's a ladder there. Oh, you're digging. Because we really want to put in a thingy. If I had more wood, I would probably go like that. But at the same time, and yes, I did just control click instead of shift click. But at the same time, I don't think, yeah, that's only holding up this. So I don't think it's a problem. And this is the outer wall, so it's not necessary. I am tempted to plan out. I'm more than tempted. I'm gonna do it. Gonna put that there. And that across there. I'm gonna have these. I mean, that can be bridged, can't it? In which case... how do I do this in a way that doesn't suck? I'll delete that. And then we have a double layer wall along here. Again, because we can. What do you mean? Oh, great. Again, I control click when I meant to shift click. And then I rotated them. Skill. Skill. It takes skill to be this bad at a game. It, it really does, doesn't it? Right. I haven't done this part of the process anywhere else, but I'm going to do it along there because I feel like that would be useful to visualize. And we'll do that. Rather, do this. Because we will be placing stairs, not stairs, wooden floors along here. You'll note the fact that I again control clicked when I meant to shift click. My abilities are unmatched. It's too far away. Why? There we go. There's always a way to do it in a scummy way. And trust that I will find it. Eventually. Probably takes much looking for me to find it, but, you know, we'll figure it out. I spent that entire time paused. Oh my goodness. I'm really bad at doing that. I pause the game because I'm thinking about something. No, I don't unpause the game. And then I eventually realize I paused the game. Right. Yeah. Like that. And like that. This is so that attackers cannot just place ladders to climb the walls, which they can do now. That didn't used to be a problem. And now you actually have to worry about the AI not being completely stupid. Instead, it's just the dread of the I don't know what I'm trying to say. Ignore me. I would say this is how I tend to function, but that's misleading because that implies I do function. Oh, which I don't. I don't think I'm gonna bother placing melons on the inside of this because I could, but at the same time, no, not doing it. It's the wrong way around. That's a lot of sounds, but no one's injured, so I don't need to immediately worry and look because no one's dying. Hmm. Uh, right. Of course, we have reached... Was I doing wood or sticks? I feel like I commented on that before. I'm doing sticks, aren't I? Oh, who cares? I'm doing wood now. And no, there will not be access into the castle from here. Into the keep. There we go. There we go. That didn't take any real effort. Should have just done that at the beginning. But I didn't. What did I do on that side? I placed it on that wall. Next to the door. Oh, I didn't... Right. Do not burn wood or sticks. Huh. Okay. We actually... No. No. How many bookshelves do we have left? Not enough. Oh, that's right. We put bookshelves in people's rooms because, well, it's an effective way of increasing aesthetics for free. Useful storage. And it's pretty. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Again, this is the experimental branch, which is a development branch, so there's developer tools in it. Research. Has it been dead? No. 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 How unfortunate. There's so many things that... How is this... My goodness. These are the summer clothes from episode 3? If I had to guess, I think it's been there since episode 3. And I think this is episode 12. Which is ridiculous. The mail also failed, but that... That's encouraging. Right. Why? Why are you building this when you could be building that? Oh. That's encouraging. Make that so that we can actually cross this. Huh. How are we doing on this big storage space? Making decent progress. Who's meant to be writing? It's Ethelman. Hmm. I am tempted to make an artificial lake. In which case, we'll smooth out some of the roughness of this. And utilize this for that purpose. Using brick. Walls? Brick walls? Yeah, brick walls. Just to make it look nicer. Oh, I was paused, wasn't I? And I think water is infinite. So I think as long as it doesn't have anywhere to flow out, it should just stay. Which would be nice. That's a tree I could cut down. Oh. Again, I'm paused. I'll repeat myself and say that I am very bad at doing that. Or rather, for doing that. Because I think this will wash in and flood. However, digging this out will be problematic. So I'm going to not dig that yet. I don't know if there's a way to stop people from coming through. Huh. There might not be. Though I'm sure that... Night owl. That's one of the ones that's not too bad, actually. I'm sure that if I cover it enough here... Yeah, it's fine. We'll figure it out. Oh, we ran out of stacks. Good thing we've done bricks, because we can still build things. Of course not. Of course not. Alright. My computer is currently not in a case, and I have made a stand for it, which I need to complete today. And I'm planning on... My order of operations for today is as planned, so possibly won't work out that well, to record this, finish that, and then record Fallout New Vegas, because I dual boot Windows and Linux, and Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4 because, and inevitably Fallout 3 when I finally install it, will be on Windows because along with Battlefield 1, because they're games that either have anti-cheat or mod organizer, which assuming that the Nexus mod organizer will be an option on Linux, I will switch to just being on Linux because it's much more convenient being on one operating system. But installing mod organizer on Linux is a bit of a pain, and by a bit of a pain I mean a lot of a pain. Really annoying. So I don't have it installed on here, but that means I have to restart the computer to get into Windows to record Fallout, to then come back into Linux to edit the videos and publish them. So I feel like it just makes more sense, considering I have to shut my computer down to put it on the stand, to just do that in one go and then record Hailstorm. And this is why we have this, because hail will not go through this. And as you can see, it damages plants. Don't know what it does to trees. I'm not sure it does anything. I've never really looked, so... No, I don't think it does. But yeah, it affects plants that you grow for food and seeds. So yeah, quite important to build up. That was a nice short one. I keep clicking on it. I mentioned this last time. I'm very bad for clicking on things like that because, well, I have the memory of a goldfish, so the moment I've not clicked on something in the last 5 seconds, actually I say that, the moment I haven't immediately just half a millisecond before clicked on something, I'm likely to click on it again because I've already forgotten that I have already clicked on it. But yes, as I was saying about the computer situation, I've also been doing some electronics project work, and so my keyboard has been sitting on my power supply, and I've been having to hold it with one hand and type with the other so that it doesn't fall off. And it's currently sitting on my project mat, which is a temporary solution. I'm also in the process of building something for that, but completely irrelevant. So it's all very cramped. Every time I try and hit W or anything on that very end of the keyboard, I bump into the soldering iron. The number of times I've almost knocked the soldering iron off my desk because it's currently perched a bit precariously because, again, there's nowhere on my desk because I have a computer sitting on it. The other thing, I've designed I have a SFX power supply, so I designed it to be in the width of an SFX power supply, so it's small. It's a very small footprint. It's like 12.5 by what would it be? 12.5 by 31 centimeters? Whatever that is in inches. 12 centimeters. 12.5 would be 5. I would grab my ruler, but it's currently sitting on my bed, which is just out of reach. Give me a moment. Right, it is, yeah, about 5 inches by about a foot, because 30 centimeters is 11 3/4, or 11 and no, it's more like 11 and 6. No. Huh? That's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. 11 and 13/16 is pretty much exactly 30. So yeah, it's just over a foot long and just under 5 wide, which it's an MATX board with a SFX power supply, so it's pretty small. Tall, it's 35 centimeters tall, which, as we've established, is about 16 inches. Yeah. No. 16.5. No. Yes. Yes. It's roughly 16.5. My brain has been melted by talking about aspect ratios and resolutions of screens. The church has an LED screen, and it is I don't know if it's, this is one of the things we were discussing last night, was is it 4 millimeters between LEDs or center to center? Either way, it's much bigger than a new one would be, which, yeah, that's one of the ways that we ended up getting a LED screen, is that we went with one that was actually affordable. Relative. But it's made up of, I think our screen is 18 panels across and 4 panels tall, and each panel is a 4x2 of squares, and each square is 64 by 64. So the calculation we were trying to figure out was, why is the resolution of the screen 2304 by 512? Well, 2304 512 times 4.5 is 2304. So it makes perfect sense, because they're both they're both multiples. Multiples? I don't know. You can make both of them out of 64. And so it's 64 times 2 times 18, which is 2304, which is if you took I don't know. We figured out that if you took off a couple panels of width, it would be 1920 by 512. So that was very convenient. The reason why that's relevant is that all of the stuff we put on it from one of the other computers is natively 1920 by 1080, and we just although it's made with black bars top and bottom, so we just scale the 1920 by 1080 up, 1920 by about 427 up to fit the screen, which again, it's only 512 pixels tall, so while that seems like it might look bad, it doesn't, because there's not much resolution anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yes, we were having this discussion because somebody's making us an animation for Christmas Eve, and yeah, we were trying to figure out what it needed, what we needed. Wait, what? How, can he stop suffocating, please? It would be... Okay. How am I meant to deal with that? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yes, either way, if you want to melt your brain, look into aspect ratios and resolutions, and yeah, you'll regret it. Rather not lose the herb seeds. Especially seeing as we can actually grow that. The other thing is, look into the standard resolution names, because they do not make sense. I mean, it's pretty easy to understand some of them. Like, SD is, well, it's standard definition. I would hope you know that. Is, like, it's 640 by 480, which is a 4:3 resolution, and that is being very standardly what CRT monitors could display. Remembering, of course, that up until the very end of the 80s and 90s, operating systems were predominantly text, and so you didn't need massive amounts of resolution. Right. Okay. That can be brazier because this will otherwise be very cold. I mean, it will be very cold anyway. One of the things that the devs have been posting about is that they're completely overhauling the manage system. This game is still in development. This is definitely not a complete game. And yeah, it's definitely nice to see that that this game has a very committed dev team, which is not always the case with early access stuff. Or rather, yeah, it's very disappointing, the number of games that get a release and then get abandoned without being finished, which, yeah, that is definitely not the case with this game. Oh, you know, that's funny, I didn't think about that. Oh. That never occurred to me. That I would need to actually, like, stabilize this. But, right. Well, that should be stable. Oops. I mean, I'm a bit stunned that the ground broke beneath this. Shouldn't have. Oh my goodness. Ah. I even thought about it, didn't I? I acknowledged that that was possibly going to be a problem and then didn't do anything about it. Ooh. This was going to be an inevitably obvious problem, but I didn't think about it. Oops. Right, well, this is the end of this episode. or at least it will be when we reach hour 0, as is typical. This has been a long episode, unintentionally so. As I said, I have stuff planned for this afternoon. And ideally I would not have recorded a long video, but again, once again, as I said, it's generally whenever I have a plan, I completely fail to stick with it. So that's me. Over Christmas, the next few weeks, probably just next week, I might record some stuff on Monday and release at usual times, but not necessarily. Depends. We'll see how busy I am. Yeah. If there is stuff I record, will it be this? Maybe. I might take the opportunity to do something else. I don't know. Again, not really. Don't really have a plan. Just winging it. Huh. I did not know that. I presume the boars did that. Didn't know they did that. Right. Well. That's good to see. What did I just... I just pressed a button. And it made my top toolbar appear. Right. Well. I keep saying right well. Very irritating. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.